Hello, my name is Rebecca Pinion, and this is the Weasley pedigree. I'm sure that many of us are familiar with Harry Potter, so I decided to analyze the trait of red hair found in the Weasley family. Here is the Weasley family pedigree showing 3 generations of inheritance of red hair. Females are represented by circles and males by squares. The individuals affected are shaded. We have 3 possible allele combinations as shown here, where a big R represents a dominant trait and a little r represents a recessive trait. Parents can also be carriers of the recessive trait but show the dominant phenotype, which would be the heterozygous big R, little r. For Y-linked inheritance, the trait is carried on the Y chromosome and is transmitted from father to son only. It is evident by the pedigree this is not a Y-linked trait because of the females also affected by red hair. An example is Molly giving the trait to Jenny. Because the first generation is affected by the trait affecting 100% of the second generation, it would be best to analyze the second and third generation to make the distinction between modes of inheritance. A pedigree showing X-linked inheritance would have an overwhelming number of males affected, and in the case of the Weasleys, the ratio of males to females affected is 1 to 3 in the third generation, concluding to this not being representative of the X-linked pedigree. In an X-linked trait, we would see mother and son or father and daughter links. For example, Jenny did not pass along red hair to James nor Albus, and Percy did not pass along red hair to Lucy. Now, just because the gene did not skip a generation does not always mean that it is a dominant trait. The pedigree could be representative of either autosomal recessive or autosomal dominant. In the case of autosomal recessive, the unaffected parent, in this case, Fleer, must be heterozygous and therefore a carrier parent for the trait. For example, if Bill is homozygous recessive for red hair with 2 little r's representing his genotype and Fleur is heterozygous being a carrier for the trait with a dominant big R and a recessive little r, their cross offspring would have a 50% chance of having red hair. We would see the same amount of effective individuals with autosomal dominant. If the trait is tied to a dominant gene with offspring with big R's would have red hair. So in this case, only 50% would have the red R. To conclude, my pedigree shows that this is either autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive. Thank you.